is Nando Calrissian. I'm here with David Petersen, writer and artist of the Eisner Award-winning Mouse Guard. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Awesome. So it's been about 10 years since Mouse Guard has been released, correct?
Yeah, I self-published the first issue in 2005, and then it was picked up by Archaea and started in early 2006. So
wow. So
it's been about 10 years.
When you first started your first issue, what went into the idea of Mouse Guard? How did it all start?
Well, it was an idea that I had in high school that kind of evolved from that point up till when I did the first issue. The origin was I wanted to do animal stories that were like D&D adventures.
Oh, awesome.
But then as it kind of evolved, I honed in on the mice being the central focus because they're the ultimate underdog.
Yeah.
They're smaller than everything. So anything that's bigger is a predator or a competition for the same grain source that they're trying to vie for.
And I think you capture that in the heart with the art and the story in that, like, this huge immersive world that, like you said, they're the targets of everything. They have to fight, they have to overcome, and it definitely shows within the storyline.
Thank you.
Yes. And so when Archaea Studios picked it up, how did you feel about that? You got excited? How was that? Jumping on to an actual publishing.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I mean, I was a little scared. Because I knew that I had a very specific way I wanted everything done. Mm-hmm. From the look of the coloring and the type of publishing, and I knew I wanted to be very hands-on. And there was a worry that with a publisher, they're going to get to make some of those decisions. Mm-hmm. But luckily, the guy who ran Archaea at the time, Mark Smiley, let me be very involved. I got to pick out the paper stock for my book, and I got to do book design with him. And, and we talked all about the kind of advertising, marketing strategies, what things we would do with Mouse Guard, what things we absolutely wouldn't do with Mouse Guard. So it was exciting and then rewarding because I got to be involved in all of that stuff.
Yes. That's really awesome. It's not often that, most indie, comic publishers like Image and whatnot, those are the places where you would go and make your own own comics. But like you said, it's interesting when you get picked up by a publisher and how that creative process changes, It sounds like it's glad to hear that you two worked very close together and it never really changed the concept or the heart of what you wanted.
No, nothing changed except that, like with that first self-published issue, it reached a very small audience because I only hand sold it at one convention. And then after that, Archaea put it on a national and even really worldwide stage.
And then it really took off after that.
I was at the first New York Comic Convention. I think it was 2 days after the first issue had come out from Archaea.
Wow.
So I was going from doing small local conventions where a couple people knew about Mouse Guard to all of a sudden I'm at New York and there's a line and there are stores saying, we ordered copies and we sold out of what we ordered on Wednesday. How do we get more? I'm like, this is all new to me too, guys.
That's really awesome. And since that beginning time, like you said, 10 years have gone by. How were some of the things you learned along the way and some of the processes that went behind changing Mouse Guard as you went on?
It's a weird thing as an artist. I feel like you don't really see the mistakes in your work until it's printed. And then when it's in print and you see it, in the context, you can start to point out things and go, I wish I had done that better, I wish I'd done that better. So it's just been a process of trying to do better artwork all the way through. I started using more models as references for locations, trying to do some more costume design, and then it's natural with any artist, you just refine your technique.
Yes.
You refine your process so that you try to get the most out of the least amount of time possible.
Awesome. So what is the future of Mouse Guard now?
More. There's going to be the next book is called The Weasel War of 1149. I haven't started working on it yet. It's going to be a little while before I get a chance. I'm working on a big illustration project at the moment that I have to get done before I can start Weasel War. But we've got some other stuff that just came out. There's an Art of Mouse Guard book that celebrates the 10 years and shows all kinds of behind the curtain, in my studio, process stuff, sketches, embarrassing old documents. It's a pretty cool book, and that just came out this summer. Luke Crane and I, who did the role-playing game, are re-releasing the role-playing game.
Oh, wow.
And then he and I also worked on a board game. There's a game that the mice play in the comics.
That's cool, and you made an actual game.
We made an actual game.
Nice.
And that just went up for sale to the general public yesterday.
So you hear that, folks. You can go pick it at your local toy and comics store. Yeah. Again, what's the game called?
I'm sorry, the game is called Swords and Strongholds.
Swords and Strongholds. And after this 10-year process, is there any other advice you could give to up-and-coming artists or anyone trying to get involved in the comic industry, knowing the stuff you went through yourself?
I think you obviously have to be good enough to tell a story, but usually the only way you find out if you're good enough to tell a story is you have to try telling that story. I know for a lot of years I kept thinking I'll work on my story when I'm good enough at drawing or when I'm good enough at writing.
I see.
I was waiting for some kind of like achievement level unlocked.
Like a threshold, like I made it.
Yeah,
like,
okay,
you know?
now
Yes.
I can do it.
Yes,
you know? And I think if you wait for that, because there is no level, it's just an inner feeling like, am I ready? And you're never going to feel ready. You have to just jump in. You have to just do it.
Awesome.
And if page 5 is better than page 1 and page 20 is better than page 5, you're doing something right.
Good.
That's not bad. I mean, obviously it has to have some kind of connective tissue so it doesn't look like it's a totally different artist and different story at the beginning than it is at the end. But yeah, you got to just jump in. The only way you're going to learn is by making those mistakes and doing it. And so I would say the best advice is to complete a whole issue. Do a whole issue of something.
A whole issue. And is there any other take that you want to, what is your take on the 10 years? Like up until this point, like how do you feel right now about Mask Guard?
I feel good. It's given me a fantastic outlet. It's given me a creative outlet. It's given me a satisfactory, personal life with work. I don't have to work a day job, so that's fantastic. Fans really respond to it. It's great. Awesome. It's great, and it's the kind of story I want to be telling. Mm-hmm. When you're in the thick of it, there are times where you're like, oh, I wish I could draw something that wasn't mice right now, or I wish. And I've been doing a bunch of covers for people, or I know other people who work on other books and things, and I'll sometimes help them with ideas for what they're working on. It doesn't take very long before I realize, no, this is the kind of stuff, like, what would I do if I had to draw what that guy's talking about drawing, or if I had to deal with a publisher telling me things like that publisher's telling me, or
I see.
Whatever. I don't want to draw buildings and cars and people having specific expressions. I want to draw mice and trees and snakes.
So you built Mask Guard as your home. That's where...
that's a good way to put it. I built Mask Guard as my home.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and talking with us.
Absolutely.
Here at Comics After Dark. I hope you have a good day at Long Beach Comic Con.
Thank you.